What's up, guys, and welcome back to the MPGL Season 7 Class S. We got Skyville going up against Execration in the semifinals best of 5. Execration are one game away from victory. It looked a little bit sketchy in Game 2, but they pulled it out after some great initiation and, more importantly than the initiation, perhaps, great follow-up. I'm Mikelorus, going to be joined by NTThrasher as well as CorruptDropBear on the stats. Dude, do you think Execration can actually 3-0, save us all a lot of time in our day?
I think if BYB plays as well as he did in the last game, they will have no problems Execration 3-0ing Skyville here. BYB, what a player he was in that last game there. Those Echo Slams were on point, always with getting a great and perfectly timed initiation. I think all in all, I could say Execration 3-0s.
I would say that as well. Like, last game, or Game 2 more so than Game 1, Skyville put up a hell of a fight. They really pressured Execration into, forcing them into positions where they had to initiate perfectly. They had to get the proper initiation on the right hero and kill off those heroes if they're going to survive that game. And Execration, we're like, okay, no big deal. We'll do it, easy. But for Skyville, at least they're showing some signs of life in the second game. I do like how they actually managed their own draft after having picked up a Drow Ranger third. It's not easy to draft a Drow Ranger lineup when Drow Ranger's in that third spot, because usually she's heavily counterpicked, but man, she had a pretty decent time when she wasn't being swapped into a Hornet's Nest.
And additionally here, they are going to ban out the Vengeful Spirit from Skyville, so they do not want to see Nando taking their racks again in the middle of a fight. They really don't want to play against it, I guess. Even though it doesn't necessarily warrant a first ban, I don't think they're going to respect ban it here.
I think the hero is maybe not like overtly powerful enough, but their flexibility combined with the strength that she does have makes her so that at least the first ban is, in my eyes, justifiable. I mean, yeah, if you could first ban Vengeful Spirit, I would usually be more scared of Invoker, but Execration clearly have shown that they do not have much interest in grabbing that Invoker. In fact, they're not going to when they have a chance to first pick him. They're going to instead grab a Bane. Maybe that support player, equally showy plays, perhaps, although it's hard to match up to an Earthshaker. Vengeful Spirit ban is going to keep a lot of strategies at least a little bit more off the table for Execration. Going for early Death Ball, not as appealing. Leaning on her late game, obviously not going to happen, but that of course means that Nando is going to get his hands on a little bit more of a heavy hitter.
And Execration going to first pick Bane, so very good control. And it's something we haven't seen in this series. I think Bane was banned out one last game, right? And that was it all, right?
Yeah, I think. I don't know.
I think
it's
it was
still
just
early,
the
so
Bane last time.
I'm gonna plead the fifth.
Fair enough. At least it's a way. It's light outside now, right? That's what matters.
Oh yeah, I have some daylight here. The nice 8 a.m. cast. Great. But if they do 3-0, I get to go back to sleep.
Ooh, the Oracle pick.
This was not touched at all. That's worth noting. Not banned, not selected.
Correct.
But Execration are going to second pick it over anything else. And this is going up against a Bounty Hunter and a Darkseer. Now, Oracle, I believe, can purge off track with Fortune's End. So, that's pretty sweet. Just having that small counter to the Bounty Hunter. But outside of that, Oracle kind of gets wrecked by Bounty since he is not able to return fire, at least early on. So the harassment is going to be real. And for right now, False Promise isn't really going to be super huge yet, bailing heroes out just yet. I mean, Skyville can still pick up that burst, but Oracle right now seems like it's mostly for that anti-track tool. It's very low cooldown, or fairly low cooldown, this Fortune's End, so being able to constantly get rid of that track is, pretty big game.
Actually, I think the Oracle's really huge here because you can selectively ignore the Darkseer. It allows you to go ahead and take a melee carry because at that point you don't really care. You can drop whatever you want onto your carry with the False Promise. Just have them go crazy. They don't have to worry. I think it's a very good pickup here into the Darkseer. And additionally, Fate's Edict blocks most of Bounty Hunter's damage if he does try to go for the early Shurikens. Just one Fate's Edict can totally deny it even when the Shuriken's still flying. So I think it's very strong here.
Of course, same things can be said about some of Queen of Pain's kit, so there's a lot of magical damage, more so than physical at least, coming out from the Skyville side. The question here for Execration, of course, is who is going to be the recipient of all of this backup and all of this aid? Gyrocopter usually is going to be the go-to, is going to be banned out. Ember Spirit also getting banned out by the Execration side themselves. So who's actually going to be joined with this Oracle? I don't think they have to answer that until 5th pick. They don't really have to do that now. They know that their mid lane matchup is most likely going to be Queen of Pain, so it's probably the safest for Execration to answer that with a mid lane response right now. The great matchups for Queen of Pain are innumerable. Maybe a Wind Ranger, a little bit more of an anti-bounty hunter mid lane hero.
Additionally, Wind Ranger, of course, another very strong hero against Darkseer. The extra illusions stacking up from wall are just more targets to shackle to. So Wind Ranger, of course, could be a very good pick. Very good at denying Queen of Pain room as well. There's the Wind Ranger pick from Execration.
Feels good every single time when we get those reads, man. No matter how many times we do it, feels just as good every time. So Wind Ranger is the pick. It was either like that or Shadow Fiend, but Shadow Fiend is definitely a little bit more vulnerable to the Queen of Pain and Bounty Hunter both. Maybe a little bit better with Oracle, like they work a little bit better together, but Wind Ranger can do Shadow Fiend's job for the most part, kind of.
Also,
Sometimes.
Shadow Fiend has the problem of, one, he's very weak against Bounty, and two, Shadow Fiend is not a very strong hero at the moment. Of course, if he gets ahead, he still has the same potential that he did before. But he does have the disadvantage of very, very poor jungle farming now. Can't take stacks nearly as fast. The mana cost on raises is basically killed the hero at this point in lane if you don't have constant regen to keep it up. So I really don't think that's the best. Shadow Shaman going to be picked up from Skyville though. Very good against Wind Ranger. Very good against the Oracle. Very good against the Bane. Very, very good answer pick from Skyville there.
This is, the lockdown is certainly very nice. That being said, nowadays we usually see Shadow Shaman as part of that, it's one of the few support heroes that can push very well, independent of individual units. So AoE is not super useful versus the Shadow Shaman. Doesn't do jack versus his wards. It is interesting to see them pick it up without having a team that is necessarily going to go for that super intense push. If they had like a Shadow Fiend instead of that Queen of Pain, this would make a little bit more sense as far as the overall game plan for Skyville, but it seems like they're just highly prioritizing the disable and pretty much just that. And it will be very useful up against this Juggernaut, but at the same time, Juggernaut with the spin is going to be pretty immune to everything that Skyville has to throw at him.
I wouldn't necessarily say that. Shadow Shaman, as soon as he gets his Blink Dagger, will have absolute freedom to go in and Hex Jug, and he can't get the spin off immediately, so I think the SS is still a good pick against him, even though, like you said, the spin will come out eventually. It does block off some of the damage. I think the Juggernaut is really better against the Bounty Hunter Darkseer, rather than the Shadow Shaman. I think that's why they pick it up here. Juggernaut cares... Ooh! The carry Alchemist, or is it the mid lane Alch? It's gotta be the carry Alch, right?
I don't really think it makes that much of a difference where he goes. Like, do you feel better up against the Wind Ranger or up against an unknown Execration hero? Either way, Alchemist should be getting a decent amount of gold. And also they have Track and Grievel's Greed, so, money's going to be coming from the heavens here. But for Skyville, except for Bounty Hunter, they all have really high priority, high profile Aghanim Scepter upgrades. Always something you got to check off whenever you pick up the Alchemist. And for Execration, in their ability to kill off and pressure an Alchemist, not super easy. They do have sufficient setup. They have like spin and power shot, focus fire, so they do have ways of killing off an Alchemist. Now with the Batrider, they're going to have yet another method, but as far as playing this game fully aggressively, making sure that Alchemist is always scared and always hesitant to farm up in any given lane, Execration with this Batrider will have it to some degree, but of course that doesn't start until he gets his Blink Dagger. So Alchemist should have a pretty free time in this game unless he gets into a couple of really bad early game fights or something like that.
I think I tend to disagree. I like Execration's draft here. I think they have the lockdown to kill an Alchemist really, really early and really late for that matter. Juggernaut will scale around the same rate as Alchemist. Even if Alchemist gets ahead in gold, Juggernaut can still fight necessarily early. Isn't really threatened by Darkseer. I really think that Execration has the superior draft here. They have the lockdown to kill an Alchemist, and they don't really have to care about the rest of the team.
They have the lockdown, but is their overarching game plan that of we're going to be able to shut down they're going to smoke level 1.
In the fountain.
Okay. Quick salve check reveals no level 1 Roche, so I guess it's really hard for Execration level 1 Roche. It's possible with Healing Ward, but it's probably not worth their time. I'm just thinking that Alchemist, even though, yes, there is the possibility for shackles and nightmare setups and whatnot, more often than not, the lane matchup that Alchemist is going to be up against is not one where he's going to be immediately threatened with death. Like, Wind Ranger doesn't really get to that dangerous state until, what, like level 6 at least? Level probably like 8 or 9 most of the time, where Shackle Shot's a little bit more highly leveled. Like, Execration need a lot of time to actually get their own set of items up, and at that stage, Skyville will also be prepped and ready to fight. Like, Darkseer close to his mechanism. Kevz is going to have a high level, a Queen of Pain, at least a Sonic Wave, so it's going to be a little bit of a coin flip. Oh, they dust up Bounty. Nightmare him, and here comes the Firefly and the spin. Damage over time just for you, Bounty Hunter. And he's going to be first blood for sure. It's going to be RR somehow to draw the last hit, but either way, first blood achieved here from Execration.
Bit of a heady commitment there from Execration as well. Not necessarily sure it was worth using as many spells. They had him pretty easily and pretty convincingly, but they're going to choose to use up pretty much everything here.
Cost them mana, but I mean, Bane has a clarity, and Nightmare is very expensive. Juggernaut has a clarity as well. For First Blood, you're not really thinking about that. First of all, you're thinking, oh shit, we can get First Blood. But yeah, using all of those spells probably unnecessary, since Bounty Hunter's, like, best case scenario, only gonna get a Surge out, and if you force the Darkseer to level Surge level 1, that's pretty good for Execration.
It's a victory in and of itself.
They still have a good lane setup right now, where BYB is going to be going actually up against Queen of Pain Shadow Shaman. That's fairly dangerous, but over towards mid, they will have detection for Shanks, and they're going up against an Alchemist. This is where Bane really shines.
Additionally, it's going to be a bit of a war in the mid lane here. They have RR versus Nanatsu. They get both Sentry Wards there. Both going to waste one.
He's taking so much damage. They're going to actually win run forward. Power Shot blind. It's not quite going to connect. Good read there from the Bounty Hunter to dodge that, but yeah, there is still a sentry here from both sides, and obviously the Execration side has to be a little bit more careful because they need their sentry to stick, whereas for Skyville, they don't care about their own sentry.
Yeah, their sentry is just security for the Bounty Hunter all in all. So.
Did Tim's get the first Bounty Rune? Yeah, Alchemist did.
Yes.
Not just sticking around here. Acid Spray now on the deck. Oh, they both have those sentries, and they're both kind of baiting them out to try to use it. BYB in the meantime is really deep behind enemy lines. Grim 2 has a shackle right now, just has to get out of the Firefly, and he will do that. Queen of Pain, oh, doesn't have Blink. Okay, well you can't get the kill if you don't have Blink.
BYB. Gotta be careful, there is Nanatsu here.
He now sees the Bounty Hunter, knows that he doesn't have a ton of mana, but somehow he went all the way from the bottom lane, pulled the creep waves to mid, gave a little bit of extra experience to Shanks, man. That was all part of the plan. But yeah, the Bat Rider is probably not going to have the greatest time. First of all, the matchup versus the Queen of Pain is going to be a little bit rough. Second of all, if you do try to stack up your jungle super high, you're going up against an Alchemist, so there is some inherent risk there. You're also going to be maybe spotted out by the Bounty Hunter, so stacks for the Bat Rider is going to be kind of risky. Yeah, it's going to be tough for BYB to safely and securely get farm towards that Blink Dagger. And if he doesn't have a Blink Dagger, then an Alchemist is going to be that much more free to just sit back and farm up.
I think it's fine, all in all. They can stack their own jungle. If Alchemist comes in and tries to take it, they have plenty of ways to answer it. And additionally, if BYB needs to, you can always find farm in the enemy jungle if they want to take Alch stacks. They can do pretty much whatever they want here.
In the meantime, top lane, Van, level 3, pushing level 4, same thing for the Juggernaut. Oracle, as far as zoning out an enemy, not exactly the best. His attack range is very high, 620, above the average for sure. Yeah, but Darkseer has 7 armor, and Lumic can cancel a Surge with the Fortune's End, which is pretty sweet, but as far as getting the kill, it is probably not going to happen, not for quite a long time. Van should be fine to get a lot of experience, and nope, over towards bottom lane. BYB can try to teleport out. Shack from the high ground. Grim 2's just out of range of the Shuriken.
There.
Oh, not able to land. The Bat Rider narrowly escapes death.
Oh, so close there. Had Nanatsu just been there a little bit faster, that would have been an insta-kill there.
Saying he could dodge Shurikens. When he's done, he won't have to. Dude is gonna still go back to this bottom lane. I mean, he's lucky kind of that the Shadow Shaman was just not in range for that Shackles. Also would have easily gotten the kill. But Bat Rider's right back to the grind, and he's getting some experience, but definitely not as comfortable as Van. His Soul Ring, by the way, is up. And actually, Nando taking a lot of damage up on top. Van probably isn't going to try to go for this, but man, Nando has to be super careful right now because he doesn't have any mana either.
There's no healing either. Oracle doesn't have the Fate's Edict. You put 2 points in Purifying.
Yeah, just purify him with the Clarity on, dude. Oh, there's a salve delivered.
It would have killed him, or at least put him to 1 health. I forget exactly how that interaction works.
Probably not worth trying it up against the Dark Seer.
Not in this scenario.
Would not recommend it. But he has a salve, he has the Clarity, he'll get up to a decent amount of HP, but still the situation for Van is going very well for him. This is a little bit of a slower start from both sides. Obviously for Skyville, that's perfectly fine for them. Stack situation for the Alchemist. There's a couple. This is a 3 stack of hard creeps. Not too bad at all. They're going to go for Van this time. Fortune's End, Purifying Flames, and the remnants of a spin. Going to grab the kill. Nando taking tower shots, though. It's going to be his survival, barely. And now with that Edict, he's going to get healed up a lot, actually, by this Healing Ward. Back up to half, at least. Oh, yeah. That's some good stuff. So, Darkseer finally going to take a spill. But this is also a free game for Tims. Again, not much pressure being applied to him. Now level 5, and he's going to clear out... Oh, not the hard stack yet, so that's for later. He's going to cash in real soon, though.
Bounty Hunter going to hit his level 3 as well. So, has the option to put a point into Janata if he'd like. He's got the early slow then if he wishes. Can also always go for the level 2 in Shuriken, and that's what he's going to make the decision for. So, huge nuke damage early now.
And he's going to get a free lane, actually. Very rare do we see Bounty Hunters ever get a free lane. Not until, like, minute 10 at least. But having a free mid lane is, first of all, not a great lane for him to farm, but he just doesn't want to farm. He just wants to chill and get experience from that lane. Because the Alchemist kind of has his hands full clearing out these hard creeps in his own jungle. So, good lane management here from Skyville, making sure that Nanatsu is going to get at least as fast a track as he can get. That being said, Darkseer in the meantime gets it with an Omni Slash. And 7 armor is a lot, but it's not going to save you up against everything that Execration have to throw at you.
Ooh, RR just going to steal the bounty rune out from underneath Alchemist's nose. It was very, very well done.
Well, costs him a lot of mana, though. I mean, Nightmare is pretty expensive.
That's worth it, though.
Yeah, it is
Denying
definitely
the Alchemist
worth it.
like 500 gold is quite worthwhile.
Tims is back in mid lane, though. 1800 Gs. I'm not really sure if this is going to be a game where Tims wants to go for that kind of power farming route. I mean, he hasn't gotten any points of the stun yet, so it seems like he just wants to play this as passively as possible. Thank you, CorruptDropBear, for marking your information as useless info. There are some really weird interactions. Like, you could salve up with Pudge Rot level 1, even though that doesn't make any sense. You can do that. Shanks, he's going to look to steal some creeps, maybe. Natsu is spotted. Shackle will fly. There's no trees there, unfortunately. He's going to get dusted, but he's going to bait them right into Grim 2. Shackles on 1. RR does not have enough mana for Nightmare. It's too expensive, and now the Sonic Wave comes through. Wind Ranger dead. RR probably going to survive here. But
yeah, with the Sonic Wave not clipping, he should get away just fine.
Yeah. At the bare minimum, though, for Skyville, they keep their stack alive. And Alchemist should now just try to clear that ASAP. Up towards top lane, Van Surge can get removed. And Purifying Flames going to come in with the spin. Damage over time is enough, especially with another set of Flames. Oracle's going to grab that kill. Level 3 Purifying Flames is no joke. And Nando, 2-0-2 now. Straight towards his Battle Fury, it seems. And as long as he has mana, now the Darkseer's situation is a lot worse. Surge management versus the Fortune's End is pretty difficult.
There's just so much damage for this Darkseer, and it purges every single Surge and Ion Shell. Darkseer is really having a rough time.
That's why we see the Soul Ring on the Oracle.
Not the normal time.
Gotta get those Fortune's End out.
Also, later on in the game, when Fortune's End gets down to a 6-second cooldown, it actually can out-purge Surges later on, so... Gotta look out for that later on in the game when they start throwing that out from the side of Lumic.
Yeah, Oracle is going to have a lot more utility, just like kind of more offensive utility. It's kind of rare that we see that from Oracle. Mostly, they're going to look for Kevs on the bottom lane. Shackle not quite able to land. Yeah, but usually the Oracle's offensive power is kind of pales in comparison to his defensive power. Van, Fortune's End from downtown. Now he can surge, but Nando's spin doing way too much damage, and the Purifying Flames come in. Just as I said,
It's a
offensive
deep
power
dive.
from Lumic is serious this game. A deep dive for Darkseer, unpunished, even behind the enemy tier 1 tower. And they should grab this tier 1 tower as well with the next creep wave. Skyville don't have an answer to this top lane anymore. Like, Darkseer can't really stay here comfortably, clearly, and the tower is going to be down. Alchemist sure as hell can't help, so it kind of has to be the Queen of Pain.
What is the answer from Skyville here? The Alchemist is at best behind on his own farm, really. He's not getting the optimal laning experience that he'd like. Is gonna go for the Radiant still anyway, though. It's should have the Relic here in a moment.
It's not the fastest timing in the world for an Alchemist, but still Radiance, as far as farming, is always going to do its job, and as far as evasion is concerned versus a Wind Ranger and a Juggernaut, yeah, you get some nice value out of that item as well. So Tim's is still having an okay time, all things considered, but he's pretty much neck and neck with the Juggernaut. Granted, this is a Juggernaut 203 who's gotten absolute free farm and kills in the top lane, so not really a super fair comparison, but yeah, Tim's going to have to do a lot of heavy lifting because the Darkseer's not going to have mech for a long time. Focus fire onto Tim. Shackle shot will connect. Shanks, though, doesn't have vision up on the high ground, so he has to walk up first to keep firing. Tim's is probably going to live, although here comes the Purifying Flames from the high ground. Tim's is still alive, and now Shanks going to get jumped by Kevs and Grimto both. He's going to get edicted up, and he's going to start for a little while longer. He's promised as well. Trying to TP out. Is there going to be enough healing? No. He's going to pop in the base. They lose the Wind Ranger, they do not gain anything, and now Lumic is kind of in no man's lane. He'll try to TP out. There's no mana for Shuriken. There's no range for the Shadow Shaman disables. It's a 1 kill for the Skyville side, but while that was happening, Batrider was farming, and he has Blink Dagger. So it's not great for Execration, but the fact that Batrider has Blink Dagger is going to make it a little bit better in the upcoming minutes.
This also means that the lasso combo is fully ready to go for the Batrider, and he's looking for his first kill. That's the first smoke. Who are they gonna go for?
Alchemist, if they can get him.
Gotta go for Alk, right?
If they can find him. He's the vision here from the Dire is pretty insane, like all the way up on this weird hill thing. So they know exactly what Tim's is doing, but they also know that Grimto is here. Neither of whom have a lot of mana, but unfortunately the partner with the Batrider is the Oracle. Again, the offensive power is here for Oracle, but oh, actually, no. Alchemist is at half HP. The gank kind of works itself from there. You just throw a Fortune's End. Did he throw it towards BYB? Not really sure. But either way, they killed the hell out of that Alchemist. But they also lost the Bane in the process.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Bane did actually manage to get his grip still. So he did get level 6. Didn't burn the grip or waste it or anything. And they had to use the quad bolt for it. So no team fight for a little extra longer. And they're going to just still exchange towers.
This is where the consistency of Execration kicks into gear up against the Queen of Pain, who is not going to be rushing an Aghanim Scepter or anything like that. Eul Scepter first on her. She will be able to get those kills, but rather infrequently compared to the Batrider, whose ultimate is going to be drastically reduced in cooldown since already he's at level 9. So it's almost at level 2, and yeah, he'll be able to get those kills pretty easily. Omni Slash is kind of a longer cooldown, but still the Juggernaut has his, and once it's level 11, or once he's level 11, Omni Slash is level 2. Then Omni Slash, any given target, as long as you have the True Sight in the lockdown, they're pretty much just dead.
Also, the lasso up again in just a little bit here for the Batrider. Just a little bit while longer, at least.
Jump in, grab Darkseer, spin him, probably get kill if they land the lasso.
Additionally, Juggernaut very close to his Battle Fury up here too. This is a very fast Battle Fury actually. Just 300 gold left at 12 minutes.
I don't know if it's possible for a Juggernaut, regardless of his Battle Fury timing, to out-farm an Alchemist. But it might be possible for him to keep pace. We'll see. Like, the Alchemist does have Acid, Breedless Greed, and Radiance. But Juggernaut can do his best. They're going to actually set up for Kevs down towards bottom lane. He'll dodge the blast. But Nando coming in fact, 4 heroes from Execration coming in. They just want to straight push this tower.
The lasso. The lasso's there. They've got to be careful.
Well, BYB is going to find a little bit of extra cash here. The outright push strength of Execration, without Focus Fire on the Wind Ranger, not incredibly high. And speaking of Wind Ranger, she's going to get jumped over in mid. Grim 2 is going to land the Shackles. There are no TPs because everyone teleported down to the bottom lane. Now Shanks gets the Wind Run out. Radiance Burn, though, should kill her off. Just be nice and patient, Alchemist. You'll get the kill. There we go. Easy kill for the Alch. But unfortunately for Execration, all those teleports down towards bottom lane, not necessarily warranted. They'll get the tower, but kind of lose their Wind Ranger unnecessarily there, I feel. And Skyville, level 6 in the Shadow Shaman. Oh, it's not quite there yet. They'll still get this tower, but could pressure
lose
tier
their
2s if
tier
they had
1
the level 6. BYB now looking for a jump in. He's going to blink in,
Not quite
then leave.
enough.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Slightly miscalculating the point range there on BYB. It looks like not too bad, but all in all, it looks like they'll just go back to farming state on the side of Skyville.
It's probably better that he didn't lasso anyone there. Once you're lassoed, you're kind of committed, and
Yeah.
that was a 2v4. So
Also, the Sonic Wave up on Queen of Pain as well.
Yeah.
So, all in all, a wise decision to hold back.
14 minutes, or 3 minutes below the average Battle Fury timing with phase boots. Of course, 203 kill score doesn't exactly hurt for the Juggernaut, but they're gonna lose another
Well, they're
tower
gonna
up
find
towards
some
top lane.
stacks.
Grim 2. Man, when is the Shadow Shaman gonna get level 6? Once he gets that, towers are gonna start dropping like rocks. But oh, teleport down to the bottom lane. It's Van. Not like this Van. If they see him, Fortune's End is gonna come in, cancel the surge. Batrider also in place. They don't even need the Juggernaut here. They'll kill him off with just all of this fire. And now the tier 2 tower on bottom is actually gonna take quite a beating. Nando's just sheer right-click damage with his Battle Fury is pretty decent.
And Kev's gonna complete the Yule Scepter now, so he's got some sources disabled, but Yule's not exactly the optimal item for Kev's, I don't think, in this situation, but it's something.
It is kind of nice to protect yourself up against the Juggernaut. You're not dispelling anything serious from Execration. You do have the extra disable, however, for the Bane. And also, to a lesser extent, the Batrider, like, blink in lasso without Force Staff means you're going to get immediately Yules'd up, and then, yeah, the lasso's still there, but it's not going to be doing a ton. It's a lot of value here for the Queen of Pain, but it's not really super explosive. Skyville may be in a situation right now where they are trying to play this a little bit too late game, and therefore will lose one too many objectives. As Execration take the bottom tier 2 without a hitch, now go straight into Roshan. With the Healing Ward level 2, they're going to take no damage from this, and Skyville can't contest this either. Skyville might be playing this game a little bit too passively.
Execration just so far ahead at this point, too. Even with the Alchemist, Skyville only 500 gold ahead in net worth, even with the Alchemist and the track gold on their side. Execration just playing a really, really strong game.
It's all about that offense, man. That's what the Juggernaut does. The Juggernaut is one of the best heroes at doing that. Getting a little bit of a lead and then never letting go. Very similar to a Gyrocopter. Gyrocopter still does it very well, but Juggernaut, not a slouch either. Serpent Wards are finally deployed on this tower. Drops it down to half HP in mid. But Execration, now that they have the Aegis, it's maybe time for them to go for a little bit more aggression. Yeah, they will smoke up. Juggernaut has no HP. Doesn't even matter, because he's not going to take any hits when there's a Bane and a Batrider right next to him. He has Omni Slash
does
and
also have the
Aegis,
Aegis
and they're going to run straight to Nanatsu. If they have True Sight, they see him with the grip. They do have True Sight, and now they're just going to beat him down. Wind Ranger trying to steal that kill will not work. Healing Ward is going to bring Nando up to full, and this should be tier 2 tower down.
And not only that, it may even be high ground if there's no reaction soon from Skyville. Nando still does have the Aegis. The Omni Slash is available. There's still a lasso even. They've got everything they want. They can take high ground all they wish.
Skyville not exactly with the best racers. Van does not push towers very well. The Queen of Pain doesn't do it great either, at least in comparison to a Juggernaut. They will have later an Alchemist to push, and he does it pretty darn well once he gets his farm. Shadow Shaman Wards, of course, fantastic at that as well, but that can only be done so very often as the cooldown is fairly long with those Serpent Wards. So Execration, they grab a tier 2 tower. Maybe it's time to go up towards top lane and clean the rest of them out. They're getting some pretty serious items up. Blink Dagger on Juggernaut, Aether Lens on Bane, Wind Ranger, very close to her, I assume, Aghanim Scepter with this staff. Yeah, she's going to have that relatively shortly. Once those items comes up, the straight death push from Execration with Mechanism on the Oracle and Blink Force Staff on the Batrider is going to be really hard for Skyville to actually deal with. Alchemist is pretty stacked right now, but he's not ready to fight just yet. BYB, he's going to grab Nanatsu. He had the Force Staff in, though. And now Nanatsu, he's going to get bumped back. Here comes the Flames. So much fire damage. Now the Omni Slash onto Van. He'll surge away, so only he will die, not Grimto, but Grimto's still going to get chased down regardless. There is sticky napalm, and it is very sticky. Grimto locked down, burned to death. 3-0. And now Execration, it's once again back on the aggressive path.
There's nothing they can do to stop Execration. They can try all they wish. They don't have their Queen of Pain there. She was skirmishing up top with Wind Ranger as well, so I don't even think that would have been enough to turn the fight. Execration still almost all full health. The healing ward gonna get them all back up. But not gonna quite look to push, it doesn't look like, for some reason. Perhaps scared of the counter initiation, and they'll back off.
Yeah, no Omni Slash, no Lasso at the ready, no Wind Ranger in the area, and even if she was, she doesn't have an Aghanim Scepter yet. Once Execration get their ultimates back online, they will have an Aghanim Scepter, and then they're going to be going for high ground. Up until then, they could still go for this final tier 2 on the top lane. Probably still, I mean, it's definitely still worth their time to go for that. But Aegis is taken away, and it doesn't look like the Juggernaut's going to be able to get value out of it.
I don't know, he does have the Blink Dagger. There's still time. If they want to go for it right now, they do have the opportunity to go up top lane and go ahead and take the tower, especially since the Alchemist has just gotten his meta.
Sonic Wave up towards top lane. Shanks gonna get help from RR. She blinks right into a grip. Was getting caught. Part of your plan, Kevs. She's gonna die. Shanks. Poison damage. Denied.
The tick.
Denied. Acid. RR. Not even gonna try. I'm disappointed, RR. Gotta at least go for that. Come on. Well, it's gonna be a 1-for-1 trade. And for Skyville, that's actually kind of nice. Unless they lose more heroes over in mid. Nando is gonna spin away. He'll be fine. But yeah, Wind Ranger got her Aghanim Scepter, but with no Wind Ranger, Execration are going to be unlikely to push unless they get a big pick off beforehand. Jump in. They're going straight for Nanatsu. Nando doesn't have an Omni Slash, however, so he'll be forced to back off.
Not afraid.
Bat Riders overhead.
The Lasso is around the side. He's got the Arcane Rune on too, so this is optimal time to go.
They see the Alchemist on the bottom
courier.
lane. Oracle can't do it. Oh, they're going to grab a Courier.
What?
Got him with the Lasso.
I did not know you could lasso a courier. That's
I'm like 90% sure that any BKB piercing tool will hit a Courier. You could roar him. I'm not sure if you could swap him, but like those types of things will work fine. Single target, you can't black hole one. I don't know. You could Sonic Wave it.
Let's just chalk it up to courier interactions are weird. We'll say it that way.
Hey, they still respawn, man. At least they respawn nowadays. Oh, jeez. 85% win rate. Literally, Execration can't lose. Although BYB, he's on the hunt right now. He's going to get stunned up by the Alchemist right into the clutches of Kevs, who blinks up to the high ground. Very short blink. Now BYB goes down to lower ground. He's going to get hit with the Promise. Purifying Flames as well. This might just be a full restore here for BYB once this Promise ends. Yes, it will be. Nice nuke damage. Did nothing. And now Execration have all of their items up, minus, of course, this Aegis. But now it's time to look for a pick-off with a Lasso, and then if they do get that, it's time for high ground.
Unfortunately, that is the Aegis expiry, though, so Nando does not have the Aegis to push in for a little while, at least. Is about to hit the level 16, though, so we'll have the upgraded Omni Slash. There it is right now. So he does have the 9 Slash Omni. Additionally, the Manta style finished, so plenty of items for the Jug. He's in full go mode.
Only with 1 point in crit, though. Kind of awkward when you're, starting to transition into that full right-clicking build and you don't have a lot of points in that crit. But hey, it's going to be coming up sooner rather than later. Nando's getting a lot of experience, and the rest of his team in the meantime, they're up towards top lane. The viable target here is the Queen of Pain. She's off in the trees. Oh, Tim's is going to arrive in. He's bulky with the Octarine Core. He has a lot of backup here, but then again, they're going to actually go for the Bounty Hunter instead. Grip up Tim's, but the stun comes in. Onto 2 just in time. Natsu's still going to fall in the midst of the fire. BYB is going to force staff out of the Sonic Wave. He's still going to get picked off, but Shanks is going to arrive just in time. Power shot set up on the Queen of Pain. Probably should be there. Shanks, what the hell are you doing? He just completely botched that, but the Omni Slash Tim's instead, plus Van as well. Well, they're going to survive a little bit longer with that mechanism. A Power shot's going to snipe the Darkseer. Brain Sap to kill the Alchemist. 3-for-1 exchange. Should have honestly been 3 for 4, or 1 for 4 rather, as Queen of Pain is lucky to get out of there alive, but either way, it's Execration taking a monstrous fight. Nando's still alive, the Wind Ranger's still alive, and with Oracle on their side, they can bring her back to full and try to go for high ground.
Also, perhaps a bit of a miscommunication. Queen buys her own Aghanims here, as the Alchemist had plenty of room to buy it, and for some reason, they're actually going to have the Queen buy her own. I don't necessarily agree with that. The Orchid could do so much for her here.
Or a Lincoln's, like if you're just like listing good items, Lincoln Spear is nuts up against Execration, against that Bat Rider specifically, but yeah, not gonna happen. The consistency, the counter push is much needed, but it's not actually upgrading the ultimate right now, so the cooldown is still very long. Gets a big vacuum onto 4, but there's no follow-up at all.
No wall.
He's looking for those shackle angles. They're going to surge forward Grim 2 towards Shanks, but immediately the shackle cancel with one of the Bat Rider's own.
Oh, poor
Oh man,
Grimto.
get trumped. And now Execration, 30 seconds window, not super high, but man, they're going to keep on going for it as long as they have mana for Focus Fire, and they do.
That's now twice in a row that BYB has instantly shackled Grimto in fights. The poor little Shadow Shaman not getting a chance to get any full-length abilities off.
Execration are actually backing off right now. They have no lasso, obviously just killed off Shadow Shaman. And fortunately for Skyville, the cooldown of Shadow Shaman is shorter than the cooldown of lasso, so for this moment at least, Execration will decide to back off. Roshan about a mid-range respawn there, and they're still getting some pretty good items up. Wind Ranger, what does she have? Nothing? Or was Aghanim Scepter just the last pick and then nothing? Seems like that was the case, but Juggernaut is 3k on top
she
of the
doesn't have
Blink.
the farm, I guess. Blink Dagger coming soon, I presume.
Kevs sees the Bat Rider. Yule Scepter is there. Alchemist is prepping his stun. Sonic Wave, but the False Promise comes out. The BYB is going to get a decent amount of healing here from Lumik, but it's definitely taking more damage than he's healing back. Vacuum back onto RR. He's going to pop to the Promise. RR also going to get caught in the midst of that. It's going to be a nice 2-kill for Skyville. They could probably take bottom tier 1 off of this, but if they do commit to that, Nando's just going to straight push for a tier 2 of his own, or they're going to defend. Okay, well, Execration, they're going to teleport Nando to the bottom lane instead. Yeah, they're looking to hold this. Maybe? Nando's going to get dove pretty deep. Yeah, I don't think this defense is really going to happen.
This is a fight for a tier 1 tower. I don't know necessarily that Execration needs to defend this. You just wait and defended the tier 2, I seem.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty obvious that Skyville were going to go for bottom lane. Juggernaut could have probably claimed the top tier 2, or at least forced someone to teleport up there while that was happening. It's not going to cost them any deaths or anything like that, so it's not terrible. It's not bad even, but just awkward to see that teleportation out from Nando, where they could have tried to get something out of that tier 1 tower loss. Juggernaut is 4,500. What's it going to be, man? Sitting in the secret shop? A Demon Edge item. Does he need MKB probably for anti-radiance?
I would assume so. Definitely not going to be a Daedalus or a Rapira, so has to be the MKB pickup. Also, Roshan up again.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure if that's great. I mean, it is good up against the Radiance. I guess that just might be good enough. I don't know. I'm trying to think, is Abyssal better? You could blink and Abyssal on the Queen of Pain. Get some pseudo-initiation on the Juggernaut.
It could be, but gets the MKB for the mini bash if nothing else. Also prevents any Solar Crest initiations as well. For when Solar Crest start coming out, the evasion is countered there.
Yeah.
It's I think all in all, it's a good damage item for him as well.
The Bounty Hunter is very close to his. BYB, he's overhead. He's the Fire Chicken. He's going to get shoved back, but they get the grip onto Kevs. Jump in from Nando. Omni Slash is going to annihilate the Bounty Hunter. Jump over to Van and get him a double. And of course, the rest of the team cleaned up the Queen of Pain. Now they're also chasing forward, looking for Grim2, who has a TP, but I don't know if he has much of a chance here. Oh my god. Well, he's dead as shit right now. 8-20, and Execration don't lose any health from that exchange. So now they're going to claim a free Roche, and then it's high ground time, it seems.
Meanwhile, Alchemist gonna go ahead and buy his AC. So Alchemist reaching his critical mass very soon.
Yeah, I mean, that's all well and good for the Alchemist, but the problem is that it's only the Alchemist that's going well for Skyville. He is leading the Juggernaut in farm by 4k. It's not a bad amount by any stretch, but the rest of his team, like Vacuum Wall is still decent, Aghanim's Sonic Wave, it's all decent, but for the most part, if they lose the Alchemist, Skyville, then I don't see them being able to take a fight.
I don't think it's enough. Skyville just can't fight it off anymore. They are going to take the top tier 2 though, so that's at least something. It's a little bit more gold flowing their way, and progress towards Alchemist's last item, I guess. What should his last item be here? It has to be an Abyssal, right?
Yeah, it's just the most bang for his buck. BYB, he's overhead again. This time he sees the Queen of Pain. Maybe he doesn't see him. He was very close, but he has Aether Lens, so Lasso cast range actually is pretty legit, but also, spell resistance and whatnot. They don't catch up to the Alchemist up towards top. He's able to jump down back towards the bottom lane. But Execration, they do have almost Omni Slash, so time to go in 10 seconds. BYB has his Lasso. He's obviously going to be looking for a pick nonstop. They just have to make sure to deal with these Alchemist illusions, because they're kind of being Naga Siren-esque right now.
And they've got to be very, very careful because if the Juggernaut does go in to push their base, they've got to be careful because the Alchemist Illusions can just take towers whenever they want to. You put them out in chemical rage
Grimto.
form, and they do
Got
some
gripped by
damage.
RR. And, Brain Sap cast animation takes forever, but it's going to be in time. Shadow Shaman down, they catch a Fortune's End onto 2, grab Tim's. Vacuum Back is going to stall the pullback a little bit. Tim's not going to take that much damage. Omni Slash in the middle of it did absolutely nothing. Now Nando, locked down, Sonic Wave will bring him down. Lumic has false promise on himself, trying to heal up with the mechanism. He should gain more health than he loses right now. Tim's, he's going to stun himself. The damage onto the Alchemist, it's pretty darn high. Is it enough to kill him off? It will be. He does have a buyback, so it's not all over yet for Skyville. But that's a very expensive buyback to have to be forced to expend. Everyone else from Execration, they are all tracked up. They're all backing off. RR's tracks can get purged off by Lumic. RR still taking
There's another wave.
And it seems like they might lose the Bane here. Kev's going to jump in, Scream of Pain, and grab one. Nando is not going into this fight for some reason. He's going to now start spinning onto the Bounty Hunter. Got shackled to a tree. That's one kill for Execration, a 1-for-1 trade, really. Kev's stopped with the Fortune and Lumic, trying to distract the enemies away so that Nando can make his escape. He has the Manta
There's a
style.
Sonic
He's pretty
Wave
darn
and
quick.
the mana.
I think he's fine. He can just dodge everything, right? Dodge this, and just keep running. Spin, keep running. Radiance is doing some work, though. Nando finally gets a blink away, though, canceling the Radiance burn with the spin, and Skyville, they have to buy back on the Alchemist. That's a pretty big win for Execration.
Though it's got to be said, Skyville does hold their base pretty nicely, and they don't end up losing anything in the end of the day outside of those buybacks. They do lose the Bounty Hunter, but all in all, not too bad of a base defense.
The only problem is that they can only do that so often, as Alchemist's buyback is, well, now on the timer now, and Execration, their ability to go in once again, in just 20 seconds, it'll be at full strength. I mean, once the Bat Rider gets out on the field, but Nando will have another Omni Slash. It wasn't super impressive. In fact, I don't even think it was noticeable in that last fight, but man, once you have all your ultimates up, Execration are going to be more than happy to, once again, test to see what they can get done, at least on the small skirmish pickoff scale. They will be a little bit more hesitant to go for a straight high ground push since they don't have the Aegis any longer. But, man, if you get a pickoff, you could still go for it.
And let's also not forget, Juggernaut will only continue to scale. He's got 5k gold now. It's all or nothing time for Skyville. They've got to win this next fight, or at least take some high ground. They've got to get something done.
Alchemist is shoving the top lane. Shanks does not have travels. Would have been a pretty nice item to have right about now, but unfortunately, he will not be able to join the rest of the team should a fight break out. Alchemist split pushing is buying them enough space, Skyville. But again, Alchemist is the only one actually benefiting from the space. Like, marginal amounts of farm for everyone else, but no real significant itemization.
And there we go. It's smoke up to the top lane. They do have 4 heroes smoked. A ward gonna get placed. Doesn't look like Skyville have any idea where the enemy heroes are, so they're gonna stay clumped up for now. It's a wise decision.
Well, Execration have a free tier 2 tower to claim, while Skyville are off farming their Alchemists as a group. If you're in this type of state as Skyville, you already know that you're in trouble. Like, you shouldn't need to do this. But when you do need to do this, then you're in a bad spot. The Alchemist is going to go straight for the Abyssal, but Juggernaut might be doing the same. I feel like you kind of do need the Blink Dagger to just get in onto those soft backline targets, get onto the Darkseer, kill him with the Omni Slash, or focus the Alchemist with the Omni. So, Moon Shards consumption maybe for him, or just end the game and hold all your gold for victory reasons. That's good too, I guess.
I think there's 2 things that need to happen. One, Jug needs to buy both BOTs and an Abyssal.
I was going to Omni Slash
Oh.
Natsu. What the fuck was that?
Nanatsu canceled it with the Invis and it didn't jump.
Well, yeah,
so.
yeah, but like, Nando, what the hell
Very
are
well
you
done.
doing trying to go in on a target without True Sight? They're all going to now just spread out. Shanks is going to hit with the False Promise. He's going to make it out. RR will not. That was questionable to say the least. Like,
Yes.
come on, Nando. Get True Sight.
It's gonna be a bane for Grimto Shadow Shaman. I don't know that's the best trade here. Giving up the track gold as well. So Execration not winning out there.
But more importantly than just the kill trades, the fact that they have no Omni Slash now and no Lasso. For a little bit, there's going to be no False Promise either. So Skyville, they do have some of their ultimates still up and active, but now the Alchemist has to worry about so little. He can
There's
just
an
go
Abyssal
for
on
the
Jug,
high
though.
ground, and Execration, they need to land a Shackle Shot on him. They will cut the damage to the tower to some extent and throw everything they have, but it's not actually sticking, so no damage being done. They force the buyback on the Bane, and that was a pretty decent exchange for Skyville if they can all escape, but oh no, Natsu.
Well, they may find
Out
a
with the tar,
Natsu.
they'll get a little bit of help from the Yule Scepter, but gets a first hit bash. Classic first hit bash.
OS Frog, please. Late balance Skull Basher.
Dude, every time.
Very, very good RNG.
I mean, Nando's playing a decent amount of RNG hero. Doesn't have to rely on it, obviously, with the Blade Dance, because one of the more consistent crits. But, hey, getting a kill. Gonna bounce right back in. Lasso now up. Omni Slash up in just 15 seconds.
Also,
And
Nendo can get the Abyssal. He has the gold for it if he wants it.
where is he going? He's gonna leave the rest of his team to push in. He's gonna get jumped by Kevs, dodge all the damage, or not the Sonic Wave damage. Lumik should be able to heal him up pretty decently. They also have the healing ward. Lumik also, well, actually on the low ground. He's going to use False Promise on himself, try to TP out.
Oh,
That's not
Lumik.
going to happen. He's going to get completely surrounded. Yule Scepter, he's going to prevent the Juggernaut from getting vacuum back in, but Lumik should still pop to his promise. No, he's actually going to gain health. Never mind. Looks like there was just
is enough.
initiation on the Oracle, no follow-up. But while the wall vacuum has been deployed, BYB still has his lasso, so Execration, they can still look for a pickoff here.
And this could be the time if Skyville messes this up one more time. That's it. Execration can win the game.
1 minute
Poor
away
Grimtooth,
from
still level
Alchemist buyback.
9.
This is delicate, to say the least. This is the Hail Mary. They're gonna all smoke up. Alchemist is real big. He's almost 6-slotted. But there is no one to kill. Because everyone from Execration just spread out. Looks like they're not gonna go in for high ground until they have an Aegis. Is this third Roche? Is this Aegis Cheese?
I believe so.
Okay,
It
well.
should be 2 Aegis. And 10 seconds left is all.
Oh, they're gonna
Very
catch the Wind
fast
Ranger.
respawn.
Perfect pickoff. If they can get it, Shanks is gonna land a shackle onto Tim, so not much follow-up damage. Sonic Wave though, and the chase down.
Gonna be wasted.
Too fast. He's gonna get out, and now, well, they're gonna blink over towards RR. Serpent Wards immediately drop on top of him. He's gonna Nightmare himself for some reason, but Juggernaut's gonna jump in, annihilate the Shadow Shaman. Omnislash still slashing onto the Darkseer as well. Serpent Wards are
And the
gonna do a
Abyssal's
little bit
still
to this
there.
tower, but definitely not enough, and they're gonna find a bash onto the Alchemist. Fortune's End is there as well, so he's not going anywhere. Although with Yule Scepter, he might get a little bit of space. Nando gonna charge on forward. The heals from the Purifying Flames, maybe not helping them out a ton, but now Shanks is going to arrive. Shackle Shot not gonna land, but Purifying Flames again gonna be thrown out. Power Shot, Fortune's End, anything. Oh, he's gonna
It's
get
not
away
enough.
a little bit. But there's a Juggernaut on his tail. Shanks just needs to land a Shackle Shot, but Tim's getting a lot of distance right now with his ultimate, back up to near full HP. They're gonna throw a Power Shot, see the Queen of Pain, blink forward. No, too fast. Shackle Shot not gonna latch. Run, Tim's, run.
The great
I think
escape.
he's fine.
He makes it out. The Lumic healing was enough to keep him alive for that short amount of time. I don't think he meant to, but there was no lucky crits from the Jug. They couldn't get him out.
Dude, he spent all his RNG getting that first hit bash from earlier. You gotta know when to spend your RNG, and that was not it. It's
was not
also
the
the
place.
fact that Alchemist is pretty darn fast. I mean, he's got travels, he's got the Yasha built in with the Manta. I guess Nando does as well, but... wait, did Nando just sell his boots? He had boots then, right? I'm pretty sure he had boots then.
Yes. He's getting the BOTs.
Alright, well, he has it now. He's gonna drop the Blink, grab the Aegis, probably give Shanks the cheese or vice versa, but this is pretty much guaranteed.
You
not
have
here
to
from
give Nando the
Execration.
Aegis here. You have to.
Nando double life, Shanks full restore. Skyville, they're gonna move in, or at least think about moving in, maybe just track up a couple of targets, but everyone Execration literally at full HP. So now they have all of their power components. They have all their damage. Wind Ranger, is this MKB completed? Yes, it is. So
And
Shanks even doing a
Darkseer's
little
ready
bit
to
more.
go,
Aegis
though.
cheese.
They gotta be careful.
Oh, Skyville run away. They're not spotted, luckily for them, so they should be able to get back into their base and start the defense. Time for Alchemist to be Naga Siren.
The DD screen spotted top. They don't have a word on it, but it has spawned. That could be the game winner if one of them gets to it.
If they even need it, man. Like, Nando's just going to start spinning down the tower. Sonic Wave is going to hit him. And they're going to jump in. Actually, Lincoln's here getting some value there. New pickup here from the Queen of Pain is going to absorb a lasso. But Execration
know
can
now.
just chill. Wait for another one.
I think what's been amazing more than anything is Juggernaut is still keeping up with the Alchemist in farm.
1k
Just
behind.
just about 1k gold behind. Unbelievable amounts of farm from the Jug.
An Alchemist, at a certain point, is just not going to get or that much stronger with his farm. Can still Abyssal Blade up. He still has buyback. Obviously, he's saving for that, but Right now, the Alchemist, like, Moon Shards level 2 travels, and he's pretty much done. They're going to start on the Raxes now. Nando's going to take a Sonic Wave. Is going to get vacuumed right back out after the Force Staff. False Promise. No, that was an Edict, actually. There is no False Promise. Oracle's going to drop. Now they lose the Juggernaut's Aegis. Where's the backup? Nando is going to immediately get shackled and dropped immediately. Oh, this is not good for Execration. They have to leave, but Wind Ranger's going to get lifted up before she can do so. And now chased down with the Ion Shell. She's trapped up, so there's no escaping this. Shanks is going to give another kill to Skyville. I'm not really sure if it was worth a tier 3 tower, Execration.
Van got 5k gold from that fight. 5,000 gold is now on the Darkseer.
Jesus.
Unbelievable. They do have buyback on Execration though. The Wind Ranger does not, but she hasn't been the biggest force in fights right now, so. The important thing is they do have the Juggernaut buyback, and that is something.
Usually at this point in the game, 40 minutes in, Juggernaut would have had an SNY for like 25 minutes or a Scotty at this point. Not having either of those means that the only health item he actually has is the ultimate orb built into the Manta style. And clearly that's just not good enough. Sonic Wave brings him down to half HP, and Raxes are going to be cracked into. Melee Rax, it's fortifiable. And it's going to buy them a couple seconds, but they're not going to defend it unless they buy out with the Juggernaut. And it's probably not worth it at this point. Sack the Raxes. And Skyville are going to claim a pretty decent victory after all of this. That was a questionable play, to say the least, from Execration, just trying to steal the tier 3 tower. You need to pick off beforehand if you're going to go high ground as Execration.
And they get back to defend their base, so no worries for Skyville. Could this be the comeback? Can Skyville win it?
I mean, that was a no lasso, no grip fight. No promise either. So that was pretty much Execration at their weakest, going into a really bad scenario. If they do it again, yeah, I mean, Skyville are looking pretty darn good, but it's very easy for Execration to avoid those types of mistakes. That being said, there are going to be more mistakes forced onto them as Van picks up a Sheep Stick with that 5k. So blink Sheep onto a Juggernaut. Better hope that the Oracle's in position for a False Promise.
He'd better be at this point. If Juggernaut does get locked down once again, and especially not having his own BKB outside of the Blade Fury, this could be the end of the game if they kill the Jug one more time.
Maybe Nando just... Oh. Could have had a record. What a scrub, almost. Nando. He needs some health items, though. Like, anything that gives him some HP or survivability, because the Sonic Wave is just hitting him a little bit too hard.
I feel like at this point, it's safe to say you can sell the Battle Fury at this point. I don't think you really need it at this point. It's not really granting you enough, I don't think, over what a Scotty could give you.
Great.
Also, Moon Shard's still available for Nando if he wants to go that route. The extra attack speed's never an issue.
You can make a case for Manta style, in fact, to be sold. I think.
I think he needs the Manta. It's another track purge. It's very good for dodging the Alk Stun as well. For dodging pretty much anything if he really needs to. That's a projectile in this case. I feel like he needs the Manta here. But I'm not so sure about the Battle Fury at this point in the game. It's very good for pushing waves, yes. It's very good at clearing things, but I don't necessarily feel as if it's the best option over another.
Or outside of the Jug, maybe just Shanks is to grab an item or two. MKB Aghanims is, or with Blink Dagger is a decent amount of damage, but for 40 minutes in, you kind of expect a little bit more from your Wind Ranger. She is neck and neck with the Queen of Pain, but it just seems weird to have two super farmed heroes on either side and then no one else anything on any of the other heroes. Oh, they're going to actually jump in. BYB is going to catch Tim's. There's no Force Staff out. However, Nando's going to arrive, gets immediately vacuumed and sheeped up. BYB is going to live for a little while longer, but Nando now doesn't have a False Promise. He's going to die, and now the Lumix going to get Abyssal. He's going to burn down as well as BYB on the run. He's going to blink out, try to teleport, and he's going to get Yules out of it. I don't see the Batrider escaping this one as a Force Staff, but he's going to get bashed down. 3 kills for Skyville. What was that Batrider indication?
They go for high ground.
That was not good, and now it seems like they have to buy out on the Juggernaut and Batrider. They cannot afford to sack this. Grip.
Here it comes. This is the last fight, potentially.
Grip and Focus Fire, though. Tim's does have a buyback, and he will have to use it if he wants to keep his own base from dying. They also Nightmare up Kev's. Omni Slash is there. He'll blink out of it, though. And Van, he's spotted. Very clear as day. Sheep onto Nando. The Healing Ward doing some work, though. Grimto is going to cancel it out. Van, Focus Fire now is going to get the kill. And Natsu blinks right into a shackle. Sonic Wave is there, but Shanks going to pop the cheese and survive. And Natsu's going to Ghost Scepter, try to get out of there, but with the spin and the Nightmare, Oh, they're blind, I think, or they don't have True Sight. No, they do on the Bane. They'll get 3. Force the buyback on the Alchemist. Execration. Land their shackle shots, land their grip, and, you know, do some decent damage with the Wind Ranger. Skyville. It looked like that was the opening, but the Alchemist being there alone for that split second costed them a little bit too much.
It's just a little too much, and that's another buyback used on the Alchemist, and he's got to remember, he doesn't have that luxury to use all the time. If they end up losing another fight, that could be game either way.
He's going to buy out for an Aghanim Scepter, probably towards the Darkseer, I want to say. Darkseer, Shadow Shaman both have really good upgrades, but yeah, that was kind of an impulse buyback there, I feel, from the Alchemist. There wasn't really that much upside to be had, even if he joins that fight. Like, everyone else on his team is already really banged up. That's costly. That's now just Execration. If they get a lasso, a successful lasso initiation on the Alchemist, and kill him off, then it's just game over.
Oracle also has the Aether Lens now. Unfortunately, not a huge item progression on him, but does have the Greaves finished. So, if nothing else, plenty of healing to go through during that false promise.
All right.
Oh, a Shadow Shaman Axe. You're right.
Gotta get big. It doubles the ward damage. Pretty ridiculous upgrade on Shadow Shaman if you can get it, or have someone else get it for you. But I'm not really sure if this game is gonna come down to ratting with these rewards. It's still like value in the fight, but Grimtoe, I mean, the health is pretty sweet, I guess. The survivability components at that, but yeah, he's been like pegged down and annihilated first thing in every fight, mostly because he just doesn't have a response to Omni Slash. No Ghost Scepter yet on him. It should be the pickup, I feel, on pretty much everyone. In fact, they have 2 and an Ethereal Blade. Okay, I guess they have 3.
I also feel like at this point, Juggernaut needs to sell the Blink Dagger. I don't feel like the positioning is really helping him at this point. He's just walking around faster. He did sell the Manta for a BKB, so is going to choose to go for the BKB route. Now, nearly immortal from as far as spell immunity goes. Blade Fury only having an 18-second cooldown. He has the 10-second BKB as well, so 15 seconds of magic immunity is nothing to be scoffed at. Additionally, he's gonna sell the Blink and start heading for a Butterfly here.
He has no
Very good
buyback.
pickup as well.
There is no buyback on Timer, so he can afford to spend all of his gold. There's a lot of extra damage here from Nando. A little bit more of a direct damage type build. Casual 1,000 crits on the creeps. Granted, no armor, but still, Juggernaut's hitting pretty hard if he can find some chances to hit. And that's where the BKB comes into play. Hopefully, for him, he's going to win the Bash race with the Alchemist.
Skyville going for the smoke.
They're
not sure this is the play.
They're thinking about like securing Roche with this, but unfortunately the game is not cooperating with them.
Very long Roche respawn. Nearly full length, in fact. Just shy of 11 minutes.
Well, it's at least gonna make this game a little bit more interesting. Maybe it's gonna buy time for someone to get buyback. No, Alchemist and Jug both without buyback, so the extra respawn time isn't gonna play into the buyback game. Gonna play into the split push game. Try to shove the waves as much as possible and still hold that Roche.
Also, I think it's pretty insane now that the Alchemist can constantly have these waves pushed out all the time now, and there's no answer from Execration. They're not really counterplaying. It's basically the Jug going around. Nando is doing his best to keep lanes pushed out, but that's not enough.
Oh, blink in Sheep. False promises there. He gets vacuum after, and now he's going to pop the BKB. Immediately gets Abyssal, but he's still very, very healthy right now because of that promise. Is he going to gain HP? He's going to Omni Slash, I think, to dodge that false promises effect. No, maybe it doesn't work like that. Maybe it was too late. Either way, still Darkseer down. Nando, though, does use that BKB. BYB, does he have a lasso? He does. And it seems like Skyville may not know about it, because if they lose one here, that could be disastrous. They're going to get Nanatsu, and just a couple swings, they're going to bring him down. Shackle also going to land onto Kevs. They're going to Abyssal him and bring him down as well. Now the Nightmare onto Tim's. The chase is once again on. This time, however, there's a flutter on the Juggernaut, and that might just be the difference between the Alchemist escapes, or if he just gets shackled, beaten down by literally the entirety of Execration.
There's no buyback on Tim's.
That's a 4-0. This split push status is not good enough to significantly hold for 110 seconds. Can they just Megas here, Execration? I think they at least get 2 Raxes out of this.
This is the chance to send them to 3-0. There's no buyback on Tim's, and he's down for 100 seconds. There's a buyback on the Queen, but that may be not enough to stop them here. There's another up lasso in 19 here, and Queen can't defend on her own.
There is a BKB in 13 seconds for the Juggernaut. There's no grip. There really aren't any useful ultimates here for Execration offensively, at least. But still...
I do have a lasso in 4.
Oh, well, that'll do it, man. Lasso in 4 is pretty sweet, and he has an Arcane Rune as well. Maybe lower cooldown on Lasso for the future. Jump in, grabs Kev's Force Staff out before the Hex lands, and they get the Abyssal. And Yule Scepter, is it going to get her enough time to blink out? She gets bumped by the Flame Break. 100 seconds on the sidelines with a minute also on the Alk. Oh, there's going to be another Lasso in just 30 seconds also. This is 2 sets of Raxes easy. There's a tier 3 to work through on the bottom lane, but the Alchemist isn't even going to be alive by then. I think Execration may have just done it with that one final team fight.
Creeps for Skyville.
This is it.
There's an army up top.
It's time to vacuum wall. It's time to Hail Mary because you're not going to get another chance. Vacuum wall onto 3. And then Omni Slash immediately afterwards. Van down. Grimtoe Nightmare is going to buy him a couple seconds, but he still dies. This is it, man. Execration have just annihilated Skyville. Absolute destruction.
Alchemist still not up after all this. They're trying to buy time. They're going to take one of the tier 4s, the Winions. They're in the base.
Go, top lane creeps. The race
Alright,
is
the
on, I
Winions can't
guess.
beat this.
Execration,
They
though,
can't
they have
quite beat
Megas,
them.
and they can just leave. As long
And
as
they're
they
gonna
don't get
take
picked
me back.
off on the retreat. Well, the Juggernaut stays alive, and that's what's important. And now, the creeps, they're all going to get picked off. Now, Alchemist
That was
is
some
back.
severe damage, though.
They
might
do
actually
have a
be able to
decent
save
team
this.
up against Megas, but I don't think it's really going to matter that much. RR, he's probably going to die on his retreat. Maybe? Nightmare? Nanatsu has to track him.
Just have the Lotus Orb. And the Force Staff is still available, so just be fine.
There we go. Well, challenge mode. Can Skyville hold against Megas and Execration?
Our defense begins. They did finally fix the Mega Creep bugs. They won't have the insane first wave to deal with this time.
I don't think that's going to be much of a solace to Skyville right now.
They do have the Queen of Pain Alchemist, though, so they can stand against Megas for a little extra time. Perhaps not eternally, but the buyback is back on Alchemist now, so they will have that available for the next fight.
And maybe they're going to snipe Nando here. This Juggernaut does have a buyback, but he's definitely not going to see this one coming.
He's
Honestly,
BKB.
why would you? BKB TP isn't going to work up against the Abyssal Blade. Here comes Kev's jump in. Nando immediately going to spin. Is it time to flutter away? No, he's going to BKB, teleport out. Grimtoe doesn't have anything to interrupt it, nor does the Bounty. Alchemist is a little bit too far behind. That could have been a monstrous pickup, but now Nando going to rejoin his team and go right into the Roche pit. Grab Aegis Cheese for probably the Wind Ranger bat.
I would assume so. Nando can't really afford to hold the Aegis anymore. If he wants to drop the Battle Fury, maybe, but I don't feel like he's. I feel like he's kind of addicted to the Battle Fury at this point.
Dude, you gotta get that money. The first
They'll
hit
drop
is
the Crystal
free.
or something. Rather than dropping something else, they're gonna drop the Crystallis. Leave that in the pit.
Yeah, it's probably the correct decision for the Wind Ranger. She doesn't even have a Daedalus yet. If it was a Daedalus, that would be a little more suspect, but where did the cheese go? Oracle, sure. Being 4 racks up.
Kevs? Kevs? What are you doing, Kevs?
What?
You still got buyback.
Well, see, I wasn't even looking there because why the hell would you be there? Serpent Wards do go up. Van gets a really nice vacuum wall, but the follow-up is absolutely non-existent. Shanks is going to get Abyssal. Force Staff's back in, but with the Wind Run, he's going to be just fine to hold his ground. Even if he does go down, he has an Aegis. Where's the Juggernaut? Nando's going to get shackled in the meantime by Grimtoe, but the Megas are wrecking the Shadow Shaman. Now the Omni Slash is going to wreck him. Bounce over towards the Bounty Hunter. People are dying, but Juggernaut's in the fountain, which is a lot more interesting. Well, they do take out the Aegis, the Wind Ranger, but now she's going to pop right back up. They don't get the Juggernaut. Shanks once again going to be bashed up by Tims. The Ancient is still alive. Everyone from Execration kind of low. Nando is actually bought back into it. If he dies again,
how are they holding this?
Can that be a comeback? This is a 5v3 we're talking here. Nando doesn't have a BKB, but the Nightmare on Alchemist, he's going to end up stunning himself. The Focus Fire is there. The Brain Sap. Tims is going to die. Yes, 2 minutes on the sidelines. And now it's all lost. Darkseer Bounty Hunter cannot do this by themselves.
It's got to be over now, right? Okay, Grimtoe calls GG. What a game. What a game.
That was stressful, dude. It's like both sides with... I think the biggest mistake you can point to, like the very clear mistakes, is like kind of impulse buying back. If
Yeah,
they
there were
if both
4
sides were a little bit more
buybacks on
patient with
Tim's.
that, then they probably could have been in a better position. But like that last Alchemist buyback was, eh.
4 buybacks on Tim's, was that used that game? That was a lot of buybacks. I think Tim's probably put a collective 8,000 net worth into buying back that game. That was not the best decision, I don't think.
I mean, you got to do what you got to do when you're the only one on your team with any sort of significant farm. Queen of Pain with 449 GPM. The Bat Riding on the enemy side has that. And then, of course, Juggernaut and Wind Ranger have a lot more. So, I mean, Alchemist is just typically going to absorb all the farm across the map. That's just how the hero rolls. But, of course, that means the Darkseer suffers. This Queen of Pain suffers. And Shadow Shaman can't get any extension items for himself. No Blink Dagger for his initiation style. And that's going to be an Execration. Are going to be able to 3-0 Skyville. And then that means on the 23rd, I want to say off the top of my head, I think that's correct.
Yep.
We're going to have the last match from Codes. Got Execration going up against TNC, a classic battle between the two teams. They're both very comfortable with, I mean, they've both won it against each other many, many times in the past. So that one is always a treat to watch. Guys, we're done here for today. I'm Mikelorus. I've been joined by the NTThrasher and, of course, CorruptDropBear providing the stats. If you enjoyed the cast, be sure to let us know. Follow the channel, tweet at Mikelorus, at the NTThrasher. It's all up in the upper right-hand corner. And CorruptDropBear, I'll spam the links in the chat. But for right now, we are done. We'll see you guys later. GG.